Thousands of Louisville residents have access to the internet for the first time. Mayor Greenberg marks the 50th anniversary of the devastating 1974 tornadoes. And 9th District Metro Councilman Andrew Owen shared the story of the chicken steps in the Clifton neighborhood. All that and more on Louisville This Week. I'm John Ramsey, Director of City Partnerships. During Mayor Greenberg's weekly press conference, he celebrated the $616 million earmarked for Louisville by the Kentucky General Assembly.
On Friday, we celebrated more than $616 million that were in the final budget bills that came out of the Kentucky General Assembly to invest right here in Louisville. This historic bipartisan supported funding was made available through House Bills 1 and House Bill 6. For months, my administration and I have been in many conversations with folks in the General Assembly. And we've talked about crucial investments that could help move Louisville in the new direction that we all want. And together, working together, having many conversations, we have now delivered results. Results that will make Louisville a safer, stronger, and healthier city for everyone to call home. I am so grateful to the leadership of the Kentucky House and Kentucky Senate, to President Robert Stivers, House Speaker David Osborne, Senator Julie Rocky Adams, Senator Gerald Neal, Representative Jason Nemes, the entire Jefferson County delegation, and every member of the General Assembly who helped make this happen. Because of their support, this $616 million, including $413 million in funding for our University of Louisville, an amazing new over $400,000 investment in Thrive by 5, the new initiative that we just announced a couple of weeks ago that's creating a pathway to make universal pre-K a reality. We are truly going to change this city. And I know that the other $200 million of funding is going to truly revitalize our downtown. It's going to improve our parks, our infrastructure, community organization, our cultural arts organizations, all of which are so critical to building a safer, stronger, and healthier city. This is a great foundation for our city. And let me be clear, this work in a bipartisan fashion with the General Assembly is just the beginning. We are just getting started. I am so excited for future sessions as well to continue this historic level of investment in our city.
The mayor also mentioned the city's efforts to grow housing diversity with accessory dwelling units, also known as ADUs.
Some people want to live in apartments, some people want to live in single-family homes, some people want to live in duplexes or condos. The list goes on and on and on. And we here in Louisville need to provide all of those types of housing, and we need to make housing more accessible and affordable for everyone. And so one way that we're growing our housing diversity is through accessory dwelling units, or ADUs as they're commonly referred to. In June of 2021, the Louisville Metro Council approved amendments to our land development code to allow ADUs in most areas of the city as long as they meet certain requirements. This change has cut down on the timeline and cost for property owners who want to build an ADU on their own lot. And since that change, Louisville Metro's Office of Planning has received 105 applications for new ADUs and approved 70 of those. Prior to this change, fewer than 4 applications a year were submitted. So we are starting to see positive progress towards this goal. But we didn't stop there. We were very fortunate enough to get a grant from the AARP. Thank you very much. The Office of Planning, with that grant, our Office of Planning launched an ADU design competition with the goal of purchasing 3 pre-reviewed plans and making those design plans free to use to anyone seeking to build an ADU on their property. So now, property owners who use the publicly accessible plans will not have to hire design professionals, and this will save people an estimated $3,000 to $5,000, people who want to build an accessory dwelling unit on their property. And today, I'm excited to announce that we have chosen the 3 winners of this design competition. And they are now available to anyone who wants to use them, accessible right on our website, louisvilleky.gov. I want to recognize the people who designed these 3 great plans. First, Dave Mayo. Dave is the owner of Studio Mayo Architecture and Construction. Next, Matilda Barth is an architectural designer at Studio Cohab. You heard from Matilda not too long ago as part of one of those great steps forward towards our goal of more accessible and affordable housing. And third, Dana Tinsley. Dana is a plan reviewer with Louisville Metro's Department of Codes and Regulations. Congratulations to the three of you for your work. We really appreciate your design efforts, and we're so excited that your work is now available for people across our city to turn into reality. Let's give them a round of applause for their great work.
The Reach for Small Business Growth program has 2 events this month to help business owners make solid business decisions.
Our city's economic growth depends on entrepreneurs and small businesses, which often struggle to navigate our city's business landscape and access the capital and resources that they need to grow, to create jobs, and to create a thriving business. To help small businesses succeed, our team developed the concept of Reach for Small Business Growth to identify and address business needs that contribute to business development gaps for immigrant-owned businesses. Reach draws on the expertise of small business resource providers to offer workshop series that provides businesses practice support and connects business owners to resources. This program emphasizes language access by providing multilingual content, simultaneous interpretation in Spanish, and multicultural navigators. There are 2 Reach workshops this month, both focused on financial topics. First, April 6th workshop will discuss financial tools that every business owner needs. And second, on April 20th workshop will focus on how to use financial information to make solid business decisions. Workshops are free and take place at the Goodwill Opportunity Center on Preston Highway. Over 200 businesses have benefited from this important program since it began, and I encourage everyone who can sign up to participate by contacting our Office of Immigrant Affairs.
Sergeant Sarah Norton with the Louisville Fire Department spoke about the Office for Women's Ambassadors program.
The month of March commemorated 40 years of women being allowed to be in the fire service at Louisville Fire Department. Since then, 28 women have graduated the Fire Academy to become some of Louisville's bravest. Now, since those first women paved the way, we currently have 20 women on the line right now. I started my career as a line firefighter, and I am proud to be the first in my family, to join the fire service. But it would not have happened if I hadn't had a firefighter to encourage me to join. So I'm here today to be that person for you, to tell you that you can be a firefighter, a fire inspector, an arson investigator, or any number of career paths in the fire service. And we are here to help you succeed, and we are hiring this spring. So come join us. The Office for Women Ambassadors raise the status of women and gender diverse individuals by advancing gender equity. The incredible women that I've met through the Louisville Fire Department and the Office for Women Ambassadors have a heart for service and a passion for this city and making it a better place. And we thank the mayor and appreciate his support and his team's support in this endeavor. You know, it takes the people of this city coming together to lift each other up, celebrate our differences, and share our resources to grow this city into a place that we love and continue to love. Thank you.
This week's Louisvillian Doing Good is Carol Jones Clay.
And this week, it's great to have someone who I know well, a Louisvillian who's doing good that contributes to the overall good of making our city safer, stronger, and healthier, someone who I've admired for years for the work that she's done in our community and her commitment to the well-being and cultural richness of the entire Louisville community. I'm so delighted to recognize Carol Jones Clay because she works incredibly hard, yet she's also so unassuming. It was difficult to convince Carol to even come today to let us recognize her in this way. She often keeps herself in the background, quietly doing amazing things that improve the lives of others. Her day job is Senior Vice President and Managing Director for Community Relations for Republic Bank and Trust Company. And she was named the President of the Republic Bank Foundation in February of 2020. And you've seen some of the amazing things that the Republic Bank Foundation has done throughout our city. Carol oversees the bank's community relations work, philanthropy efforts, and manages the special events department. In her community involvement, Carol demonstrates her commitment to civic engagement through her work with the Louisville Downtown Partnership and the University of Louisville Depression Center Advisory Council. She's also an active part of so many boards in the past and present, including the Kentucky Derby Festival and the Louisville Fund for the Arts. She served as the co-chair of the Historic Preservation Task Force and contributed to the Mayor's Advisory Committee on Public Art and Monuments. For humanitarian and philanthropic work, Carol won the 2023 WLKY Spirit of Louisville Foundation and Churchill Downs John Asher Spirit Awards. And I was so honored this past January that along with Senator Gerald Neal to present the 2024 Martin Luther King Keeper of the Dream Award to both Carol and Senator Neal. Unfortunately, Carol was not able to make it that evening. And that's why I'm so happy today, so happy that we could recognize her behind-the-scenes work that has made Louisville a better city, that has improved the lives of so many people, that I can again thank Carol and formally today present her with the Mayor's Keeper of the Dream Freedom Award. Thank you so much, Carol.
Hi, I'm Mick Sullivan from the Fraser History Museum, where the world meets Kentucky. And through our free Fraser Plus app, we're sharing stories of Kentucky with more people and in new ways. Enjoy this short video, and we hope to see you as we celebrate our 20th year in downtown Louisville.
In 1876, a young woman named Annie Casey arrived in Louisville from Galway, Ireland, and settled in the Limerick neighborhood. She supported her family by working at a local dry goods company close in Wasson before honing her sewing skills at Sharp in Middleton, where she specialized in bridal wardrobes. The young women of Louisville soon sought after Miss Casey's skillfully made and fashionable creations, but this was only a precursor to her growing success. After her marriage to Walter E. Glover in 1886, she rose to international fame under the name Madame Glover and dressed the finest brides and debutantes of the Gilded Age. Her success coincided with the rise in notoriety of the Kentucky Derby, and many women traveling from across the country would send their measurements ahead to Glover and proudly wear one of her stellar creations on race day. Madame Glover operated her store in Louisville for nearly 3 decades until her husband passed away in 1912. She retired thereafter and lived another 35 years in New York City. Upon her death in 1947, she was buried in Louisville's Cave Hill Cemetery.
Internet access will soon be available to 2,000 Louisville residences that have not had access before.
This project will bring broadband fiber to the home service to roughly 1,880 locations in Jefferson County. This is part of a statewide effort where we are working in almost 50 counties across Kentucky.
To me, I believe when people get involved, we can make a difference. And I love people telling me what's wrong with the area, and we have a chance to solve it. And sometimes we need to step up to do what we're supposed to do.
From businesses to students, healthcare needs, and more, internet access at a high speed is a basic need that everyone in our city should be entitled to.
On this week's Metro Council Chronicles, 9th District Councilman Andrew Owens shares the story of the Chicken Steps.
Hi, I'm Andrew Owen. I'm the council person that represents District 9 in Metro Louisville, and we're at the Chicken Steps in the Clifton neighborhood.
There were some people who very actively opposed this.
We're going to talk to some of the neighbors about the Clifton neighborhood and its relationship to the Chicken Steps.
That's how they got the nickname.
So we're on the Chicken Steps, which are at the end of Vernon Avenue in the Clifton neighborhood. And the thing that I always say about Vernon Avenue is Vernon Avenue has the most eclectic number of housing types of any road in Clifton. And Clifton is pretty eclectic in and of itself. So if you ever want to see all types of architectural styles. Come to Vernon Avenue, you'll see the 1880s federalism, you'll see post-war, you'll see some multifamily, you'll see some modern. There's one of every type of house on Vernon Avenue.
The hillside is actually residential. So the parcel of land has got two zonings on it.
That's pretty unusual.
It is unusual.
We're here with Mike O'Leary, and Mike is the, tell me what you are, Mike.
Rebel Rouser, I'm the president of the Clifton Community Council.
President of the Clifton Community Council. The chicken steps connect Vernon Avenue to Brownsboro Road, and let's talk about why they're called the chicken steps.
They're called chicken steps from what I understand, because years ago there used to be wooden steps here, and our neighbors had raised chickens, and hence the chickens would be on the steps. That's how they got the nickname of the chicken steps.
And that was before, like, chickens were cool. Chickens were running the neighborhood. That's very, very Clifton.
It's very Clifton of us, right.
When I first met Mike in person, Mike took me on a tour of the Clifton neighborhood. One of the places Mike took me was right here. What is it about the chicken steps?
Well, because they're so important to the neighborhood. As quirky as it is, and as quirky as it sounds, it's so practical, and it's so needed, because our neighbors are able to walk from the top of Vernon down to Brownsboro Road, but more importantly is our visually impaired neighbors. They have a safe route from up the hill down to Brownsboro Road. They can hold on to the railing. It's a sense of safety on Clifton Avenue. There's a big curve, so it's more of a difficult situation, whereas in our chicken steps on Vernon Avenue, our neighbors, our seniors, and are visually impaired, they can come down here and feel safe, secure, going from the top of the Vernon Avenue down to Brownsboro Road to Kroger's.
And it is called Clifton for a reason.
It is.
We have a significant elevation change from there to here.
We give neighborhood tours of the Clifton neighborhood because we have lots of quirky things. And the chicken steps are important because we want everybody to know that they exist, how important they are, and they're just quirky. And there's a little sign on Frankfort Avenue in Vernon that says chicken steps, and there's a little sign down there on Brownsboro Road, chicken steps. And I've had friends call me, and, Mike, what the heck is a chicken step? Well, let me tell you. Let's have coffee at Frankfort Avenue shop.
And I'll tell you all about it.
Absolutely. While you're spending your money on Frankfort Avenue, that's so cool.
34.
Yeah, that looks about right.
I'll go double check.
Okay, there you go.
Our chicken steps in Clifton are made up of 36 steps. So you've got a long climb to get to the steps, and you've got 36 more to get to the top. Excuse us. People use the chicken steps.
Yes.
This is no joke. We have the American Printing House for the Blind, and we have the Kentucky School for the Blind on Frankfort Avenue that have been a staple of the community for many years. And so the Clifton neighborhood has one of the largest visually impaired communities in the United States.
It also had, still does under a different name, the Kentucky Industries for the Blind, where a lot of people worked, and they still do today under the name LC Industries down here on Brownsboro Road.
This is Carla Rushal, and Carla has lived in the Clifton neighborhood since what date, Carla?
1961.
What are some of your first memories of the chicken steps?
Well, my first memories were when we moved into the neighborhood, and I was an only child, and we had a cousin who would come and live with us, and my mother would send us back, down here. Once the Kroger became real, then we would use the chicken steps to get down there to go to the grocery. And they were wooden. When you got down to the bottom, it was just a dirt path. So when it rained, you can imagine, it just kind of washed out, and it was a mess.
Do you ever remember chickens on the chicken steps?
I don't remember, but I do remember there were a lot of chickens. You could hear chickens and roosters all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's quite possible, but I never came back here at night.
So then the second evolution of the chicken steps was when they went from wooden steps to being concrete.
That's really where I pick up. In 1976, the blind community had a demonstration of the need to fix the railroad crossing at Clifton and Frankfort and how dangerous it was at the time. And so one afternoon we did this. In fact, we actually went down to, I think it was Mayor Burke's office at the time, to help him understand what was happening with that crossing. And so we came up to Clifton and we're out there. And while we were doing that, one of the reporters said, any other places around here that are interesting? And we said, well, yes, there are. There's the chicken steps where, blind people that can't drive, the way we get from up here to down there to the grocery store and other things down on Brownsboro Road. In fact, I had a sister-in-law that lived a block from here for many years, and she called me up when she saw the story on TV that night. She said, where in the world were you? You were way out in the woods somewhere. And I said, no, I was over at Vernon on the chicken steps. Harvey Sloan helped to get the concrete done back here, the pathway cemented down to the Jerry's parking lot.
So it's been a very important pathway from Frankfort Avenue to Brownsboro for all of Clifton, but in particular for the visually impaired community.
And also we cannot leave out the elderly community.
So then there was the developer who was proposing that the chicken steps be closed. And this is a public easement. Once again, the Council for the Blind stepped in.
Apparently somebody in the blind community literally ran into the sign and asked somebody, what does this sign say? And that's how they learned about it.
I go, what? He said, yeah. Well, the one thing led to another, and that's how I met Cassandra.
I know that I ended up working with Carla and the council on this case where this right-of-way was being closed. I didn't know about the chicken steps. I had to learn about the chicken steps. Learned a lot from Carla. The plans had been signed off by the Metro Public Works, which it turned out didn't have an institutional memory that they had built the steps. And I believe the developers hadn't actually disclosed that these steps existed on the right-of-way that they were wanting to close.
So, oh no, we don't want this to happen. And so the blind community and others went down to Aldermanic Chambers. That was before the merger. And there was this hearing in the afternoon. My son was in high school, so he had not been a driver very long. He went out and helped round up people that afternoon to come down to Aldermanic Chambers. So here we were, and we're in there making our views known, and the attorney for the cottage side said, well, we've been here before. This is like the third hearing. This is the last. And these people show up just at the last minute. And we said, well, that's because we didn't know anything about it.
So I just love that story that you guys were able to step in and preserve something that's so historic, but also so critical to the community.
But it couldn't have happened without help. Everybody over the years has been able to work together in this neighborhood to make things happen.
That's what community is all about, really, in the end.
It is.
So it's incredible that the chicken steps have had so many times where we've had institutional memory lost by government. Government had to get involved to get them built. Government was involved to close them for a minute. And so there have been so many iterations, but they've survived and they're still here today.
The National Weather Service commemorated the 50th anniversary of the 1974 tornadoes that devastated parts of Louisville.
In the record books, 1974 is still one of the worst tornado outbreaks to have occurred in the country. 148 some tornadoes with 300 deaths across 13 different states. And unfortunately, some right here in our backyard of Louisville.
It was just 4 months after we were inaugurated in December 1, 1973, that the tornado hit. And it just totally shocked the community. Talking to the residents, what they want and what we can help them with. Well, one of the things they wanted was a zoning plan for the city and upgrading it. And so Don Ridings, who was with the Planning Commission, did that professionally, bringing the residents in to understand their concerns and to incorporate it in the plan.
We've learned so much from 1974 until today. The advancements in weather radio and Doppler radar, the forecasts and warnings ahead of time are tremendous. Take advantage of them. The final thing I'll say is just make sure you have a plan in place heading forward.
And at Metro government, I'm proud to say that we stay prepared for severe weather and natural disasters of all kinds. We're blessed to have great first responders, great emergency prepared professionals, so many people throughout Metro government that help us prepare for inevitable severe weather, and that we also have great partners. I also want to give a plug for something that did not exist in 1974, and that's Lens Alert. Lens Alert is one of the ways that we can communicate with residents en masse across the entire city. Text 67283.
Jose Donis with the new Metro TV Spanish language program, Al Dia in Louisville, shares information about the upcoming Mosaic Awards program.
Welcome again to Al Dia in Louisville. With us today we have Christina Milkey from the U.S. Center for Career Services. Christina, welcome. We're going to talk briefly about the Mosaic Awards, which is the event of the year on May 14. Christina, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the invitation.
Could you tell us a little bit about the Mosaic Awards, what it is and why you guys do it?
Yeah, so our Mosaic Awards were started around 12, 15 years ago to honor our refugee and first generation refugee immigrant herencia, generation heritage, yes. Immigrant refugee heritage here in Louisville that we're making contributions back into our community. At this point, I believe that we have honored over 50 individuals. We pick 5 every single year. Every year we gather recommendations and candidates from different organizations. Anybody can nominate a candidate. If you know a refugee, immigrant, first-generation American that is making a difference in Louisville, we would love for people to please recommend them. And so our Mosaic Awards is on May 14th this year at the Melwood Arts Center, and we will be honoring the 5 individuals that have been are being honored this year. One of whom works in Louisville Metro government, Amasi Zerimana, Ahmed Farah, who works for the University of Louisville, Juanita Perez, who works at La Casita Center, and then we have one researcher from University of Louisville and another doctor from University of Louisville.
And how can the community or businesses or people support the event?
Yes, so we are always looking for sponsors, corporate sponsors, individual sponsors. All of the information about the event can be found on our webpage, jfcslouisville.org. Or if you prefer to call, you can call our general office line, 502-452-6341, and ask to speak with Courtney. She is our marketing manager director.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you again for being with us in Al Dia in Louisville, and we hope to see you again in a couple of weeks. And please come to the May 14 Mosaic Awards event.
Hi, I'm Sal Melendez with Louisville Metro Public Works. Here's what's going on this week with roadway safety projects, paving, waste collection and recycling, and more. These are the Louisville Metro Public Works paving projects scheduled for next week. Safety improvements are being made on these roadways. Various lane closures and other impacts will be ongoing during these improvements.
Our next large item pop-up drop-off disposal event will be on Saturday, April 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Sun Valley Park and Ashby Lane Baptist Church. You can enter from 10401 Lower River Road and 6617 Ashby Lane.
Go to louisvilleky.gov/pop-ups for the 2024 pop-up drop-off schedule for more information on recycling and disposing of large items. The street sweeping season has officially started. We need your help. If you live on a street that is scheduled to be swept, please make sure that you move your vehicle off the street between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. the day of the street sweeping is scheduled.
Go to louisvilleky.gov/government/public-works and sign up for the Works Week, our weekly newsletter, and stay informed on Public Works news. And you can take our survey on litter in Louisville. Share your opinions on the effects of littering in our abatement efforts.
Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Thank you for watching and have a wonderful week.